What's going on, brewers? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go over some tickers I'm watching for this coming week. We'll go over a few of the positions that we have on in our chat room, starting with some of the bullish positions and then switching over to the bearish ones, because as we know, it's always good to have both bullish and bearish positions on, especially in the current environment. So let's start with Coin. Last week we got in some bullish butterflies on this ticker. Overall, I do think Coinbase continues crawling higher. So far, the signals are looking positive. It's holding all the moving averages on the daily, and momentum is starting to curl back to the upside. So we'll see what happens. That's the first bullish one that I'm watching this week. Next is Netflix. This is the weekly time frame. I'm absolutely loving the squeeze that it's been in for a very long time. Finally, it's firing long just a couple weeks ago, and this past week, Netflix just broke out to new all-time highs out of this weekly flag. I do think the momentum is just getting started. We actually had put on some short-term call condors this past week, took them off at around 100%, and then reestablished to some call butterflies for October. So we'll see what happens from here on out. I'm targeting at least 645 to 650 over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And next is Moderna. Kind of the same concept as Coin, holding up above the moving averages very nicely, and we have momentum starting to curl positive. It kind of started peaking above this little balance area and closed above it on Friday, so I'm thinking 440 would be the first target that I'm looking for at a minimum next week. All right. So that's a few bullish ones. Now let's look at a few potentially bearish ones. So Tesla, this isn't so much a bearish one, but it is more of a, in case it pulls back, insurance type of bias. Overall, it does look like Tesla's been having a hard time moving higher even after the squeeze fired. So I'm looking for a pullback to these 50 and 200-day moving averages or channel bottom sometime this coming week. As most of you saw in the recent shorts video in the chat room, we have some put spreads on in Tesla that we got for really cheap, like 3 cents per spread. That would pay out very nicely if this thing starts moving to near 700 and below. So looking forward to that if it happens. Next is Baba. This one has been quite consistent at doing that textbook retrace and swing lower type of move over and over again. You can see here, move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back, move lower, pull back. So we're trading this to the downside for the next couple of weeks with some really cheap put spreads that cost near zero. Overall, Baba's been pretty good to us. We, play the drop, then the bounce. Both times worked out. So fingers crossed on this next bear play working out as well. We're looking for that 160 to 150 area. Last bearish one I'll share here is United UAL. Overall bear flag pattern on the daily. A few weeks back, we tried to play a break of the bear flag, but that didn't quite work out as UAL just kept chopping around. We didn't lose any money on that trade since we put that trade on at zero cost, but as it stands, that bear flag is still valid. So we essentially rolled that bearish position out to October for a really tiny debit. So looking forward to seeing United break the flag and move lower to at least that $40 area. So that's pretty much some of the things I'm watching. I also have some additional trade ideas for the premium crew. So if you're part of that club, make sure to check those out. Their ideas in Amazon, Sonos, and Boeing. And for all the others, if you're interested in what those ideas look like, pretty much every night I come out with 2 to 3, sometimes more trade ideas for tickers that I'm watching. They're mostly short-term plays with advanced option strategies. I'll share different ways to play either the bullish or bearish bias, what spread, what strikes and legs, what expiration to pick for the best risk reward. I outline potential risks and show what they look like as the trade develops over time. And for smaller accounts or traders who prefer to use less margin, I also provide alternate plays and structures for those situations. So, unlike other services out there that don't really even tell you what strikes, all they're kind of doing is showing you lines on a chart and spastically calling bullish or bearish. My ideas are actually detailed and actionable. And at the end of the week, I also go over any trades of interest that happened. It's just a small write-up of what I think were the most educational trades that took place. Typically, what I mention in those trade reviews is how the trade started, how it progressed, and how it ended. Key insights or takeaways that I think would be helpful for options traders to learn, like any adjustments made throughout the journey of the trade, any nuances that I noticed as the trade developed, in general, just anything that could have been better. And of course, as always, there's the live real-time trade alerts that get sent out as soon as they're filled on my end as the markets unfold. It's as fast as a click of a button on my end, and my trade gets alerted to the various alert channels in our Discord, either the premium alerts channel or the basic alerts channel, or both. Each trade alert automatically comes with its own thread for organizational purposes. So if anyone wants to follow along on a trade, whether or not they decide to put on the same trade or a similar trade, or decide they just follow it for, educational purposes or for commentary around that trade, they can just join that thread. I will call out that while these trades are mostly focused around spreads, we also do play single long calls or puts, whatever offers the best risk reward, even 0 DTEs. So for example, last Friday, we put on a trade in Moderna. It was exactly that DGen Lotto Friday type of play. So as you can see, we entered these 420 calls, 0 DTE for 8 cents, exits at 22 cents, 13 cents, etc. It's really whatever offers the best risk reward. So don't think it's all just about spreads. It's more than that. So this is a service I provide for the premium tier. I also do have a cheaper basic tier that only has the basic trade alerts with less complex spreads, no trade ideas or trade reviews. If any of these sound like something you're interested in, feel free to check out these tiers over at our site. I'll link it down below. Premium tier comes with a free trial if you're interested. And I do the trial just so, you can make sure it's something that works for you and your own options trading edification before you decide to commit. So anyway, that's it for today. Until next time, trade safe, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.